Hi everyone, this is Gura Taha and I'm presenting my final project for computational linguistic course, which will be about a review of literature of the BabelNet, a tool to overcome linguistic barriers. So BabelNet is a massive multilingual encyclopedic network. Basically, the idea behind BabelNet is that it merged two main sources. The first one is the lexicographic source or dictionary, WordNet. The second one is Wikipedia, and it covers around 20 million entries, which is a lot of entries compared to other previous version of integrating different sources of computational linguistics. So usually when it comes to the BabelNet, we have two main components. The first one is WordNet, and from WordNet we have concepts and sets of synonyms, which is sunsets. And we have parts of speech have been identified, and whether we have just mono, semi, or polysemy word. And then we have sunset definition and the glosses, and then we have sunset example sentences. We have also the lexical and semantic relationship between the different lexical items. So is it a part of it is a definition, or it's antonym, or in the domain of we have hypernym or subordinate. And from the Wikipedia, we have the article page, and then we have the title of the page, the lemma, and then we have the title label to help disambiguate the lemma, and then we have partially structured text. Gloss is provided in the first sentence, and then we have article relation, wherein we can go to different places like external or internal pages, hyperlinked in the source. So here it integrates the same lemma or the same lexical item from different main sources. One of them is dictionary based, the other is including encyclopedic knowledge. So as for the WordNet, it's basically a lexicographic source, which means it provides a lot of information about the lexical and semantic relationship between items. So an example of this is this one. So for example, WordNet here, I have used the word play. And if we have a quick look at how it works, we have here the sense, which is S, which means the sense of the word. So we have here, what does it mean, the word play? And we have different senses here. And if it's used as a noun, and then if it's used as a verb, and then we have all of them with some examples, and with the semantic relationship, which could be summed up in the following table, which is do we have a hypernym subordinate relationship from concept to superordinate? For example, we have, if we go from breakfast to meal, which means we are going to the superordinate, the higher term, the umbrella term. And then we have the hyponym, which is the subordinate, the opposite of the first one, wherein we go from the concept to the subtypes, so meal and lunch. And then we have an instance hypernym, and then we have an instance hyponym as instance. For example, we have composer Bach, and then we have Austin author, and then we have part meronym. In this case, it has a part from whole to part stable. It has 4 legs, and then we have part to hold, which is here course is a part of a male. And then we have antonym, semantic opposition between items, which is the opposite meaning or the antonym. And leader, for example, we have follower, and we have derivation, which is adding some affixation to the word. So destroy, which is a verb, we add the tion, which is the derivational suffix, to have the noun for it. As for the use of the encyclopedic knowledge in Wikipedia, Wikipedia is a collaborative project, which means it is daily updated. Anyone can edit it, as here it's a free encyclopedia that anyone can edit. So it means it is daily updated. And in this case, linking, for example, you can use the search box here to get any information about any items, let's say play, for example, and in getting more information about the wordplay, we can integrate them, and this leads us to how BabelNet works. So how can we use it? So here, if we look at this diagram, we'll find out we have two graphs from different sources. So here the wordplay based on the different lexical and semantic relationship we have just talked about. And then we have here the sources that we are getting from the encyclopedic source, Wikipedia. So all the related items, just like, for example, a tragedy or Shakespeare or even satire or ancient Greece or sarcasm or Europe or literature, for example. So in this case, we have two different sources, and every target linguistic and lexical item is represented in the form of a graph in this case. And each graph contains various concepts together with the various forms of the semantic relationship between them, such as a part of, hyponym, hypernym, and the concept of various realization in different languages is also activated. So here we have different sources. Machine translation is also integrated into the later version of the web BabelNet. So we have here the word in different languages, in English, in Dutch, and also in Spanish, and so on, and in Italian, and in French, and all of these. So all of these information constitute the kind of information that we are going to get when we have the BabelNet. So why do we need BabelNet? BabelNet provides this kind of encyclopedic lexicographic knowledge about a concept, and it helps me a lot. I haven't used it before, but the moment I have been recommended to look at it by Dr. Hempelman, I start looking this website, I start liking this website, because it includes all the information from, as we have seen, from 4 different sources: WordNet, BabelNet, WordNet, Wikipedia, machine translation, and human edited translation in some sources from Wikipedia. So it gets a lot of information, and all of them are there for you to use them. That's why we have different application. One of the application of using BabelNet is to help out with providing different senses of the concept in text. So in this case, it helps us with disambiguating the sense of the word based on the kind of input we're having, and also based on some contextual environment. And also it helps out if we have, let's say, for example, a bilingual text, a text that includes some code switching or code mixing. And in this case, if you activate this kind of setting, which is language agnostic setting in BabelNet, you will have some information that is meaningful, and you are not going to need another source to help you out with that. Another application that BabelNet is help out with is providing a word in a context, which is the WIC database designed by Webster and Colados, and it helps figure out the meaning of a certain word in different concepts. So it has been integrated into BabelNet, and it has been used. Also, BabelNet helps us with machine translation, especially with different languages. So if you have a text and you need to find information about this text in different languages, you can easily do that by using BabelNet in different languages. So some of the, let's say, challenges that have been leveled against BabelNet is that it does not incorporate a lot of information like the conceptual information, like the phrasal or even the sentential level, which some of the other things that have been used to fill up this gap, like ConceptNet or Cover or LessLex. But again, what is quite promising is that the latest version of BabelNet have overcome this part. And for example, if we look at the timeline of BabelNet, it started with 2013 with 6 languages, including only WordNet, well, Wikipedia, and Dpedia. And later on, the next version, it covered 50 languages with the inclusion of Omega Wiki and Open Multi-WordNet. And in 2014, we have 50 languages with the addition of Wiktionary and the Wikidata. And in 2014, we have 271 languages have been added with the inclusion of the free-based pronunciation and usage examples. So here, start we're having some example and we're having some contextualization of the word. And in 2015, version 3.5, the number of the languages has been increased to 2072 with the addition of paper domain and WordNav and geonames, which is very helpful because it provides some information about the places, the cities, and the countries. And also in 2016, the next version 3.6, we have the same number of languages. And yeah, go back to 271 languages, and then we have Italian WebNet has been added, and Open Dutch WebNet and WordNet has been added. And in 2016, again, we have key concepts and improved BabelNet domain coverage. And in 2018, version 4.0, the number of the languages has been increased to include 284 languages, and with the addition of manual validation of the resource mapping. And in 2021, this is the latest version up to this moment, and the number of languages cover around 500 languages, which is a lot kind of languages to be covered in just one source. You can imagine you can have the same. So for example, you can have information about just one lexical item in 500 languages. Then with the addition of Verb Atlas and BabelNet Pick and manual validation of the resource mapping and English WordNet updated for 2020, here it has overcome all the kind of dexilexalization or even the idea of not providing enough conceptualization of the term with the addition of all of these sources, which make it much more efficient. And also the number of languages have been increased quite considerably over time, which makes it a very important website for computational linguists and even for the kind of the improvement in the field. So that's all I have for this, and here are the references I have used, and thank you so much.